Object cloning is a way to create exact copy of an object. The clone method of object class is used to done an object. The java.language.clonable interface that must be implemented by the class whose object clone we want to create. If we don't implement clonable interface, clone method generates clone not supported exception. The clone method is defined in the object class. Syntax of the clone method: protected object clone, which throws clone not supported exception. The clone method saves extra processing task for creating the exact copy of an object. If we perform it by using the new keyword, it will take a lot of processing time that to be performed. That is why we use object cloning. Advantage of object cloning: you don't need to write lengthy and repetitive codes. Just use an abstract class within a 4 or 5 line long clone method. It is the easiest and most efficient way for copying objects, especially if we are applying it to an already developed or an old project. Just define a parent class, implement a clonable in it. It provides the definition of the clone method and the task that will be done. Clone is the fastest way to copy array. Disadvantages of cloning: to use the object clone method, we can have a change of lot of syntaxes to our code, like implementing clonable interface, defining the clone method, and handling clone that are not supported exception, and finally calling object clone, etc. We can have to implement clonable interface while it doesn't have any methods in it. We just have to use it to tell the Java virtual machine that we can perform done clone on our object. Object clone is protected, so we can have to provide our own clone and indirectly call object clone from it. Object clone that does not invoke any constructor, so we don't have any control over object construction. If you don't want to write a clone method in a child class, then all of its superclasses should define the clone method in them or inherit it from another parent class. Otherwise, the super clone chain will fail. Object clone supports only shallow copying, but we will need to override if we want to need deep cloning. Example of clone method: there is object cloning. Class name is student, which implements clonable integer roll number string name. Student integer roll number string name. So this dot roll number is equal to roll number. This dot name is equal to name. So public object clone, which throws clonable that not supported exception. Finally return super dot clone method. So public static void main string arguments we are passing over here. Try student s1 is equal to new student 101 comma Hamid. Student s2 is equal to student of s1 dot clone. System dot out dot println s1 dot roll number plus s1 dot name. System dot out dot println s2 dot roll number plus s2 dot name. Finally catch clone not supported the exception C. The output is equal to 101 Amit and 101 Amit. Cloning for cloning. Inner classes. Inner class means one class which is a member of another class. There are basically 4 types of inner classes in Java: nested inner class, method local inner class, anonymous inner class, static nested inner class. Nested inner class. A nested inner class can access any private instance variable of outer class. Like any other instances variable, we can have access modifier: private, public, protected, and default modifier. Like class interface that can also be nested and that can access specifiers. Class outer, system dot nested class, public void show, system.out.println is a nested class method. And method local inner classes, inner class that can have be declared within the method, or outer class. In the following example, inner is the inner class of outer method. Class outer, void outer method, system.out.println inside outer method. Inner class is a local to outer method. Class inner, void inner method, system.out.println inside inner method. So inner y is equal to new inner, so y dot inner is method. This is a anonymous inner method. Strings in Java. In Java, string is basically an object that represents sequence of character values. Java string, which provides a lot of concepts that can be performed on strings such as compare, concat, equals, split, length, replace, compare to, intern, and substring. In Java, string objects are immutable. Immutable simply means unmodifiable or unchangeable. String s is equal to Java point. There are two ways to create a string object. First one is by string as literal, by new keyword. In string as literal, Java string literal, it is created by using double quotes. For example, string s is equal to welcome. By new keyword, string s is equal to new string of welcome. This is the new keyword.